Fnaf has had many games over the past decade. To most, the games were all perfect, while some thought that they were all questionable. However, one game has been looked at repeatedly but was never given the credit it deserved: Fnaf 3. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Now, with all the Fnaf games, we have had times when the cameras in the games were just useless. Fnaf 1 and 2 and Sister Location's Secret Ending Night and Custom Night are perfect examples of this. With Fnaf 1, you were just looking at one camera the whole time. 2 if you were cam stalling Freddy or Foxy, but that's just one take. With Fnaf 2, it had the same issue as well, as you were just watching the prize corner with the music box. And then with Sister Location, you were just flickering your camera up and down just to get some info on where everybody was and to save power. If anything, Sister Location was just listening for audio and that was about it. For all the other games, the cameras were just abandoned except for Ultimate Custom Night. This element changes as, for once in the series, you have to look for Springtrap and play audio on the camera where you want them to go. More importantly, you get to use the cameras more and as the main mechanic for the game. It goes even further for the cameras, as you have to watch both the vents and the cameras as well to survive. The game also has a new mechanic added to it as well. That mechanic would be to repair any of the systems that go offline. Now, to be honest with you, it is a bit clunky, the gameplay it is, but if we did not have this mechanic added to the game, it wouldn't make the game feel special and unique. I say this as the Phantoms have a good flow with the game. The Phantoms, instead of being animatronics that just kill you, like a typical Fnaf game, they become clever distractions for Springtrap to get into your office and kill you. Every move you make has to be played right or you will fail. This game, however, falls onto the department of being RNG based, as Springtrap can now spawn in any of the cameras and could result in him being closer than normal. Also, any of the Phantoms could spawn in areas that could mess you up even at the very beginning of the night. Now, with all this in mind, there can be arguments made about how this game is easy or not, but one thing that we can all agree on is that this game did something different and in a way that told players to expect anything from Scott, as he will change anything or add anything to make that game feel different than the others. So, don't underestimate these games. Scott might prove you wrong in the end. When it comes to looks of the animatronics, it's a bit of 50-50 for this game. On one hand, we have people who love the designs of Fnaf 3. Then, on the other half, they don't. I do not blame them though. The reason is, well, quite simple. The designs of the Phantoms were a bit lazy in a sense. Scott took designs from Fnaf 1 and 2, but then just put full contrast on them with a watermelon pattern. I am not one to judge someone's work, but if the entire community points it out, that's not a good sign. Chica suffers from this fact, as you can tell from her design that it was just pulled from Fnaf 1 and just splattered with a saturated watermelon pattern. For the rest of the designs, however, they were a bit lazy, as the rest had one or no changes to their design. And Freddy and Balloon Boy are some of those who suffer from this as well. There could be an argument that they were poorly done, or they weren't, they were just perfect. But there is one that changed character designs forever: Springtrap. When we first saw Springtrap, we all thought that it was just a broken body and nothing more it was to be said about it. But when we started to see the secret screens of Springtrap, we all knew right there and then that there was more than meets the eye with this new antagonist. With these images, we soon came to realize that there was now a corpse inside the suit, a combination of a rotten corpse and a bunny husk, is one that many do not think to see. To think that someone died in that suit and now the soul controls it. But then, to later learn that it is the purple guy who is in Springtrap just makes this character a more disturbing but a fan favorite in the series. My personal favorite as well. This character did not just change this game alone, but all of gaming because of the uniqueness of Springtrap's design and character. Now, I can admit, we all say that a certain character looks better or cooler than this other character, but we can all agree on one fact. Springtrap is a character who is one, if not the best looking characters to be made in horror, and will go down in history as one of the best in gaming history, and in horror in general. So, if we ever see Springtrap in live action, just know that we will see the whole internet break. I can admit, this game, it does get a bit of hate from most people about how this game was a step down from Fnaf 2 and 1. They however overlook one key detail for this game, and that detail being that this game makes you feel tense, much like the first, and unlike the second game, there is a fear element to be seen. I say this because Fnaf 2 is known to be frustrating rather than scary because of how difficult the game can be at the very start of the game. This game, however, brings back that tension that the first game was known for. The tension of one misstep can mess you up and make you lose. The feeling that once you lose sight of Springtrap in your cameras or in the vents, you just lose the game. This game also catches you off guard with the phantoms jump scaring you out of nowhere and the lights going off because of the ventilation going offline, and now you must move quickly before it is too late. Another thing to point out is that the tension element in this game works out super well, as Springtrap is the only one that can harm you. And it works out super well because that builds tension and fear in the player, but also dread, and in a way that makes the player start panicking. This game may use only a few elements, but the game uses it in a way that is just right to make this game feel more terrifying and tense than the other two releases, but also challenging, but not in a way that is a dumpster fire chaos, much like Fnaf 2. We all forget that we are playing a horror game and want to be spooked, and not rip our hair out. So, whenever you play a game, don't judge it too quickly. That game could surprise you at the end if you give it a shot. With each game, Fnaf grew in popularity for two main reasons: the game itself, and of course, the lore. Each game continued to build from what the last game told, with the story getting deeper and darker as you uncovered more of it. Fnaf 3 took this to a whole new level, as you see that this game was meant to set the spirits free of the children who were mercilessly killed by William Afton. We see this as when you beat the fifth night, you see that you got the bad ending. That is because we did not set the spirits free. But once you complete all of the secret minigames and beat the fifth night again, you get the good ending. That, however, isn't all though. You see, we get the introduction with a suit that was wearable. The Springlock suit. As you progress through the night, you hear phone calls about how these suits worked, but also the events following these suits.
Hello? Welcome to your new career as a performer slash entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. These tapes will provide you with much needed information on how to handle slash climb into slash climb out of mascot costumes. Right now we have two specially designed suits that double as both animatronic and suit. So please pay close attention while learning how to operate these suits, as accidents slash injuries slash deaths slash irreparable and grotesque maimings can occur. First, we will discuss how to operate the mascots when they are in animatronic form. For ease of operation, the animatronics are set to turn and walk towards sound cues. This is an easy and hands-free approach to making sure the animatronics stay where the children are for maximum entertainment slash crowd-pleasing value. To change the animatronics to suit mode, insert and turn firmly the hand crank provided by the manufacturer. Turning the crank will recoil and compress the animatronic parts around the sides of the suit, providing room to climb inside. Please make sure the spring locks are fastened tight to ensure the animatronic devices remain fixed. We will cover this in more detail in tomorrow's session. Hello. For today's lesson, we will be continuing our training on proper suit handling techniques. When using an animatronic as a suit, please ensure that the animatronic parts are tightly compressed and fastened by the spring locks located around the inside of the suit. It may take a few moments to position your head and torso between these parts in a manner where you can move and speak. Try not to nudge or press against any of the spring locks inside the suit. Do not touch the spring locks at any time. Do not breathe on the spring locks, as moisture may loosen them and cause them to break loose. In the case that the spring locks come loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out, as to not ruin the customer experience. Hello. There's been a slight change of company policy concerning use of the suit. Don't. After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures, the company has deemed the suit temporarily unfit for employees. Safety is top priority at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is why the classic suits are being retired to an appropriate location while being looked at by our technicians. Until replacements arrive, you will be expected to wear the temporary costumes provided to you. Keep in mind that they were found on very short notice, so questions about appropriateness slash relevance should be deflected. I repeat, the classic suits are not to be touched, activated, or worn. Hello. This is just a reminder of company policy concerning the safe room. The safe room is reserved for equipment and or other property not being currently used and as a backup safety location for employees only. This is not a break room and should not be considered a place for employees to hide and or congregate. And under no circumstance should a customer ever be taken into this room and out of the main show area. Management has also been made aware that the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved and would like to remind employees that this costume is not safe to wear under any circumstances.
You might be asking, why should you care for such calls? Well, in the last phone call, we heard that the Spring Bonnie suit was still being used even when they were no longer being used by the company. This is where things start to go dark. If you go back to the Fnaf 2 phone call, you hear about someone taking a yellow suit. Why does this phone call matter? Well, this is how Afton killed the kids. He would lure them with the suit and take their lives. But that same suit that he grew fond of would soon be his downfall. When you get to the last minigame after you beat the 5th night, you see the purple guy in a corner with all the souls in front of him. Then, he runs to the Spring Bonnie suit and starts laughing. He thought that he would be safe in the same suit that he killed them with. But that will no longer be the case. But this cutscene, we got one of the most disturbing deaths to exist in this franchise, but one of the most favorited of them all. This death showed us that this franchise, or more importantly Scott, was not afraid to get his hands dirty, but also showed that you can never get away with murder. This goes even further when you read Silver Eyes, as it goes into full detail about what happens when you go through a springlock failure. They will scratch all over your body, and then the parts from the suit will impale everything. And I mean everything. You will die, but it would be slow. And here's the funny part. Cassidy extended Afton's death to 10 minutes. And that's not all. You don't die from the springs themselves. You die from drowning from your own blood as the springs destroy your vocal cords. This is what it would have sounded like. This brings into question, though, how did he come back as Springtrap? Well, if you've read the books, then it's quite simple. Remnant. You see, when he destroyed the suits of the Animatronics, he was doing it for a reason. To harvest the soul power from the suits. In fact, there was so much remnant on the suits that when he died, the remnant combined with the suit and rebirthed him as we see him in Fnaf 3. I always come back. There is a reason he says this, and now we know why. 30 years of pain and torment and agony, but now he is here and he's back. And now he is the main attraction. And this is his playground, his little horror story. And it's only just begun. Now, that is all for me for now. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you all want more content like this, then please subscribe for more content like this in the near future. Now, I will see you all in the next one. Take care and God bless.